our job and our responsibility, and the way that it was to protect the town. We were still going on calls. We were still responding. We weren't giving up on the town. We were showing the people that we're still here, and that was our job. And we went around assisting everybody. If it was even a member of our company, we're digging out mud out of their house. We're helping them tear stuff down, looking for belongings, going back out to go to a call, come back from that call, and you're back out helping a resident look for pictures. And that's who we are, and that's what we do. So, that's what our thing was. We're going out there and helping our community. It's, that was our job.
As chief of the fire department myself, along with my deputies, director of Office of Emergency Management, and the chief of the EMS squad, we had many pre-planning meetings before the storm hit, where we sat down at Union Beach Borough Hall. We went over a map of the town. We figured out the areas that were going to flood, and then we tried to get as many resources together as we could before the storm hit. Making sure that our areas were covered, trucks were fueled, right equipment that we had. Also going out and making the notifications to homeowners in the area, knocking on doors, going door to door, advising them in low-lying areas that you're going to have to most likely evacuate due to the storm and the severity of the storm.
First and foremost, what we did was initially we took care of our own families. Usually everybody says we took care of the town. We know what we got to do with the town, but first we took care of our families, because usually with storms we know we're gone from anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. So, a lot of us took care of our families and our homes. And then it's basically the same thing. You come up here, you make sure all the trucks are fueled. We have some supplies, drinks, food, stuff like that. All the guys pack their own bags, bring blankets and stuff. And then we hit the streets. We start going into our low-lying areas, let them know what to do, move their cars. Our property sits higher, so the back we usually let all the homeowners park their vehicles and stuff, and that's pretty much what we do. We just get out there and try and get the people to do what we need them to do and start moving.
We've never had a storm of this dimension. We got to the point where fire trucks were no good. I mean, fire trucks were not going to get through that flooding. We learned lessons that day. I mean, we need to have a couple of 2.5-ton trucks and have them staged in town, so if we have a problem. But we've always told people, evacuate. Most people know that the water is not going to affect them. I mean, I had the conversation with my wife, like, look, we know we're not going to have a problem with water. So the only problem we might have is if there's a medical emergency, people might not be able to get in and help us. My whole block was flooded also, and we've never had a drop of water on my street. And so it was an unusual storm. As far as stories, I mean, like I said, I think the biggest part for our company was the frustration. We stayed at our firehouse because there wasn't any calls at the time. We stayed there as long as we could. After we had about a foot of water in our firehouse, we had to get out. We had some families in our firehouse. We brought them to the school where they were hosting people. We get to the school, and the water started coming into school. So we brought them back out, and then we alerted the chief, who was working in the command center, and they sent buses to evacuate the people that were being housed at the school, and they brought them to town hall. Like I said, the frustrating part was knowing that there was things happening in town, and we weren't in a position to get to people.
There's two calls that somewhat stick out. We had a call come in on the 900 block of 7th Street, entrapment. People were in their attic, and water was already up into the attic. So we put a crew together on a 2.5 and pretty much told them, do what you got to do to get down there. And I know they had trouble getting down the street. And one of the radios back to us was, we can't do it. And it's tough, but it was given back to them, just do it. Do whatever you got to do. I don't care about the truck. Just get down there, do what we got to do, and rescue the people. And we were able to. We got down there and did what we had to do and rescued it. And then The other one that sticks out is one of our members out on a rescue, comes back and pretty much tells us, my brother called me, he thinks he's having a heart attack. All the way across town, town's flooded. We put guys on a deuce and a half, EMTs, backboard, and the driver said, listen, my truck's bad. I said, listen, just do this last run. I don't care if it blows up. We need to get to this kid. He's got to get back. And the funny thing is they get over there, they get him. We get him back to our command center, which was out on the outer side of the town. And as the guy pulls up, the truck pretty much just blows up. I mean, it's totally out of service, sitting on the front lawn of Borough Hall. And I said to the guy, I go, I'm sorry. He goes, don't even worry about it.
I mean, the biggest thing to us was, the biggest call to us was Brook Ave. It was, we got called out later on in the storm, when the storm was really, really up there. Getting over to Brook Ave, we're told that there was somebody trapped on a roof over on Union Ave. We was assisted with a boat that came over from Keyport. They dropped it off for us. Firefighter Pinto and Habon and Annunziato got in a boat, removed this gentleman from the roof. In the process of that, there's a street called Prospect right between where the creek is and the inlet of the water of the bay. They found out that there was 9 people that were trapped inside of a residence, and the residence was collapsing. They approached the residence on the boat, and due to the tide, it was pulling out, was bouncing these guys all over the place. They removed them. We had to carry children and an infant out of the water to our trucks, come back, and firefighter Annunziato and Pinto are the ones who discovered Brook Ave. Brook Ave completely devastated. There was, at one time, 20 houses, and there was nothing there. We couldn't find anything. During that time, we got reports of a family being trapped on underneath a house. And what we were doing was going house to house, going through windows, inside collapsed pancake structures, like anything. It's a war zone. You can't describe it. It's a war zone. We found out that there was a family that was trapped, and we made our way all the way to the dead end block. We come to find out that it was a husband and a wife. The house collapsed. The husband was pulled out in the bay. The wife went a different way, and they were swept back together on the roof. We got over there, and we had to remove them from the roof. Frankie is our EMT on our truck. So with the assistance of Sergeant Chuck Irvin from the police department that came over to help us, ex-Chief Mike Murray, who's not here, we removed the victim from the roof. Frankie, patient stabilization, we did what we had to do. I mean, there's so many stories. It just, we carried him out on the front door. We didn't have equipment with us. That's something that sticks in all of our minds.
Like we said, we all ran out of one firehouse. We ran shifts, and it was tough to get the guys to go home. Some of the guys had no place to go. They lost their house, so they were there. And we had trucks that were dedicated to running calls, and then the other trucks, what the guys did was load up food and clothing and stuff like that. And we just started driving around helping people, take food, take water, take clothes, because some of these people lost everything. I mean, and that went on the first 2 weeks we were doing that. You couldn't get guys to go home, and they were just dead. Everybody was dog tired because nobody wanted to sleep. So that's what most of what we did was constantly go out helping the people, giving them clothes, food, on top of answering the calls.
We had guys that performed incredible acts of valor that night, and it's something that you can never ever possibly train for. And I had besides the guys from our fire department, we had guys from other fire departments that came in here and did extraordinary things with the very little resources we had. At the end of the storm, the thing that makes us all feel better is we didn't lose one resident, we didn't lose one fireman, nobody was injured. And I mean, for the devastation we had, it's a blessing. It's absolutely a blessing. And being the chief last year, I couldn't be more proud. I've been in this town for 37 years, and I couldn't be more proud of the guys I serve with. And I would do anything on the face of the earth for them.
When we were returning from one of the calls after the storm, when you're driving back, you have a chance to kind of calm down and look around at what's going on. You see people on the side of the road just kind of walking like a zombie because they had no idea what to do or where to go. And when you stop to give them food or water or just even are you okay, anything, they would just basically wrap their arms around you and, say thank you. And it's something you wouldn't expect, especially in the time of need that they were in, to say thank you to us for just being out there. That was a big thing.